To the MLG stream covering the Acer TeamStory Cup match between Mouz Sports and Invictus Gaming. Of course, we're here. We saw Jim look almost unstoppable, just tearing through Hasuobs, Vortex, and Lucifron. Both the Duran brothers fell to the might of Jim, but Mana saying, "We shall not fall." Mouz Sports, of course, still has hope to make playoffs if they win every single match for the rest of the season. But they have to start now. They're down 1-3. Can Mana try to pull them back? Of course. The Acer TeamStory Cup is the biggest team league outside of Korea by far. We've got $20,000 in prizes for these teams. A playoff spot is extremely important. The playoffs are going to be offline in Germany. It's just absolutely very important for both these teams to do well here. Now, realistically, like I said, Mouz could make playoffs, but they'd have to win every single match for the rest of the season. Invictus Gaming, I don't even know if they can make playoffs at this point. But both these teams right now, Mouz in 8th in the rankings, Invictus Gaming in 9th. They need wins to make sure they're not in the bottom 3 spots. If you're in spots 8, 9, or 10, which currently both these teams are, you're eliminated from next season. You have to try to re-qualify in, which is a very difficult process. There's no guarantees with the amount of teams going to be trying to qualify for this tournament. So they really want to get at least in the middle of the pack, spots 5 through 7, because then they automatically get that invite into the next season of Acer TeamStory Cup. Looks like Invictus Gaming has decided their next player. It's going to be XiGua. XiGua, a very strong Zerg player from China. Invictus Gaming has a deep roster. We talk about Jim being often regarded as a top Chinese player. Invictus Gaming has a lot of other players who are, they're just a hair shy of him. They're all exceptional players. Actually, wait a minute. It says maybe not XiGua. They're deciding. They're debating who they're going to put in. Of course, they do have a lot of options. The map's going to be Newkirk Precinct. So if you think about that map against a Protoss, if you have a Zerg who loves to play Swarm Host, this is an amazing Swarm Host map. That being said, I'm not sure how XiGua plays as EVP, particularly. So we'll have to wait and see if he chooses to go for that Swarm Host style or not. Of course, you don't have to go Swarm Host by any means. The Viper attack, where you max out, it's like there's an attack Zerg does against Protoss. Snoot loves it a lot. It's about at 1330, somewhere around 1330. Where Zerg is going to be maxed with Vipers at a 13-minute, 30-second mark. So if you're a Zerg, you're trying to do that, that's kind of a timestamp. How close are you to the pros? Can you get a maxed army with Vipers by the 1330 mark? That's an attack that can be very strong on Newkirk Precinct, because often the Protoss kind of expands towards the Zerg, so the rally distance is much closer. And while there are some, angles that are like ideally good for Protoss, Blinding Clouds are very strong on Newkirk Precinct as well. It looks like it is going to be XiGua. He's going in, so it is going to be a Zerg against Protoss. Of course, Invictus Gaming, they could have put in Maxed. They could have put in, I think they have a couple other Zerg players on their team as well. They've got a very, very deep roster. There's a lot of potential players. XiGua, though, is definitely one of their strongest players. I mean, I'm trying to think of, if they're going to pick the top 4 on Invictus Gaming, I think it would be Jim, Max said, XiGua, and XY. And then Jim would be the revived 5th player as well. So if you're thinking of those, if those are the 4 players they're going to use, on Newkirk Precinct, it does make sense to use XiGua, I think, against Mana. And Mana showcased great PvP against Jim, so I don't know if you want to put in Max said. So I kind of like their choice. But here we are. Currently, Mouz Sports down 1-3 to Invictus Gaming. Jim took down Hasuobs, Vortex, and Lucifron, then was stopped by the might of Mana. Over here in the bottom right-hand location, has taken first blood for his team. Looking to try to tie up the score, the red Protoss, Mana. And his opponent in the bottom left, gonna try to avenge his fallen brethren, Jim. Hailing from China, representing Invictus Gaming, we have the blue Zerg, XiGua. We see an early scout from Mana. Right after pylon. You know what? This is a good cannon rushing map, by the way, guys. I think. No, it's not. I lied. It's not the best cannon rushing map. I haven't actually seen this map. This map hasn't been used super recently in WCS. So I'm trying to strain my memory on different cannon positions, because you see a lot of cannon rushings on WCS. I don't think there's any amazing cannon rush positions back there. So it's interesting to why he scout after pylon. Normally people scout a little bit later, unless they're looking to potentially cannon rush. Which maybe he was. Maybe against hatchery first, he was going to cannon rush. You know what's interesting? Okay. I'm trying to put some thought into this. So, normally when you gateway expand, you scout late, and the Zerg hatchery first, you're just like, well, shoot, he has a nice advantage. But what Mana is doing, he's doing, like, when you scout this early, the Zerg's going to think you're forge expanding, or going Nexus first. Because remember, XiGua doesn't know anything quite yet. It's interesting he sent this over to the main and not to the... I guess that actually makes sense. He wants to check the gases. Yeah. But yeah, so Mana just wants to do a gateway expand, but he also wants to be as annoying as possible while doing it. Instead of playing, often when Protoss gateway expand, they play passively until Militia Core comes out. But Mana is just, I mean, he doesn't need units to be aggressive. He just needs to probe. He's really bothering XiGua. XiGua going straight for gas now. Interesting. Okay, no, that's not interesting. That's obvious because he saw gateway expand. My whole sense of PvZ is thrown off because you almost never see pylon blocks with a gateway expand. So normally I'm like, well, normally someone pylon blocks and a Zerg just waits and they build 2 hatcheries at once when that's done, right? But in this case, because it's a pylon block with a gateway expand, out with a Nexus first, XiGua wants to get that the Zerging speed as soon as possible so we can shut down proxy pylons. Because of course warp gate comes much faster off a gateway expand. That being said, because the pylon delayed, because the early scout and pylon delayed Mana's build, we can see here he couldn't actually get a Nexus before Militia Core. He was forced to get the Militia Core first, just because the timings were delayed, and if he got Nexus first, these Zergings would have been a real pain. So I'm not sure if that pylon block even favored Mana. I mean, of course, he did delay the hatchery for some time. It's a very interesting situation. I don't know if I've ever seen that pylon block with a gateway expand before, so it's pretty interesting to see how things play out. Of course, we do see XiGua taking the drones off gas as soon as he had to 100 gas. Mana trying to keep an eye on the 3rd hatchery of XiGua if it's coming down. And see no 3rd hatchery. If you can identify there's no 3rd hatchery here as well, though it's almost always up here for the Zerg, at least against Protoss. Or actually in all the matchups probably. As soon as he sees no 3rd, he's going to know for sure that XiGua is getting Zerging speed. Or some crazy, like, some weird all-in. But if it's a weird all-in, Mana wins, because he already has Sentry out. He's building a 2nd Sentry, has a Militia Core out as well. I don't see him dying to any all-in. So, he knows there's Zerging speed on the way. And pretty soon he should get another building here to complete the wall off and make sure he's safe. And of course, the reason why he knows there's, excuse me, the reason why he knows there's no Zerging, or there's Zerging speed, is because he saw the timing of the 3rd hatchery. He knew it was late enough that the Zerg had to invest in speed before the hatchery. So knowing that, he's going to be a little bit careful. He is getting sending his probe on the map. Now, if this probe can sneak in like a proxy pylon, that would be great. XiGua needs to really scout around and make sure there's no pylon. You can see he's got these Zerglings across the top of the map. But this probe... Oh no, probe! Don't walk into a Zergling. No! Aw, poor little probe. He had ambitions. He had construction ambitions. He got his engineering degree. Back in Ire. Went over to the map of Newkirk Precinct. Wanted to test out his construction skills. Unfortunately, the workplace is hazardous, and all the hazard pay in the world will not be enough because he did fall. We do see an Oracle coming in from... Oh, look, a lot of Chrono Boost saved on that Nexus as well. Oracle coming in from Mana. I don't think... XiGua, be careful with your speedings. Yep. That Stargate has not yet been spotted, so XiGua's still a little bit in the dark. For now, he saw the gateway push out. You can see Roach Warren's being built, getting ready to defend. This is how important denying proxy pylons is, because imagine if right now there is being 3 more Zealots being warped in right here. All of a sudden, this attack would be just so much scary, because at this point, you know, Instead of warping in, now he has to wait for the pylon to finish, and by that time, roaches could easily be out, assuming XiGua chooses to build some. Whereas if he had right now 3 more zealots, all of a sudden he could probably get the hatchery. XiGua's still on top of the 9 to pylon early on. And Mana's going to try to do what he can. I think he's going to, I mean, he could definitely get the queen, obviously. He has a recall, so he's just seeing if he can do damage. Now, if these sentries can force field this ramp, he still may get the hatchery. Imagine if he had 3 more zealots, it would be an easy kill. As is, he still may get it. XiGua, you've got to get your units up there. He's going again for the pylon, so he's forfeiting the hatchery. And Mana's just going to recall out. There we go. Can he get any sentries? Oh, does not get any sentries. And Mana is extremely happy with that. You know, XiGua... excuse me, guys. XiGua was a little hesitant in producing the roaches, which is interesting because he saw that Gateway Army coming out. So, that definitely hurt him a lot. And Mana's looking great. And look at this, XiGua in desperation is going to try to switch to Muteless. Can Mana spot that? Will he spot the Spire? Oh! Oh! No! Or yes, he did. He did spot it. Excuse me. He did just barely spot it. The question is, did he? Right? So he ran over here. Yeah, I mean, there's no way that can be mistaken for anything else. It's not like XiGua would be getting sack defense at this point. Now Mana knows to just start producing Phoenixes. XiGua on only 4 gases. Very difficult to make Mutas effective off of 4 gases. You see Mana continue his pro production worker count. 49 to 49. An even count typically favors the Protoss. Units lost, favoring the Protoss as well. Everything looking good for Mana here to continue his destruction of Invictus Gaming. He's taking out Jim. Can he take out XiGua here? Void Ray, charged up, is just destroying that hatchery. Where are the queens? Where is the creep spread? XiGua is falling apart here. This is a disaster for XiGua. He only has 2 queens on the field. Neither one of them is close. Can Muteless get here in time? That's the big story. Phoenixes are killing the Overlords. Here comes 1 queen, but the hatchery is going to fall. Here come the Muteless. And another recall. Wow, Mana making amazing use of small forces and recall to just obliterate XiGua's 3rd base time and time again. Now, it's interesting. He saw the Spire, but maybe he wasn't 100% sure because he did get a robotic support bay. That being said, now that he's seen the Mutas, we see, you know, a 2nd Stargate's done. He's getting the Fleet Beacon as well. And if you look at the unit counts, it's 7 Mutas to 4 Phoenixes. That's a number that's going to favor the Phoenix every day of the week. And Mana can continue to produce them 2 at a time. XiGua realizing he saw the Phoenixes in play, he's realizing he cannot just overwhelm them with Mutas. No way. Not with his economy. Not with no 3rd base. Just now trying to recreate that. So instead, he's going to try to switch over to Hydratus. He's going to save the Mutas for potential counterattack when Mana moves out. I actually really like this move. He could pop into Dislocation. There's 1 cannon there. Of course, if he commits to Mutas now, they're just all going to die to Phoenixes. Mana, being very on top of his scouting, has spotted the Hydratus then, notices it's currently researching. He's adding in Colossi to his composition. Moving out to take his 3rd base as well. Phoenixes could pick up a roach or 2 here. Get a couple free kills as they continue on their course of upgrades. Going into Void Rays now. He never got the Phoenix range because he's realizing the Mutas aren't really that big of a threat right now. And man, you know, a roach here or there, yeah, it's a cheap unit, but on a Zerg with such low economy, now he's just now at 73 drones. He's got to get those drones over to that 3rd base. But still, it's at a point where units lost is a disaster for XiGua, but the Phoenixes are out of position. The Mutas are going to try to kill as many probes as they can before they fall. Phoenix is going to go for the Hydratus, but meanwhile, Mutas are coming into the natural. They're going to take out the Void Ray. Probes are in full retreat. Phoenixes took out all the Hydratus. Great job by Mana, and the Mutas actually weren't able to do too much damage. The probes ran away. They got 1 Void Ray kill. What else can they do? The Phoenixes are coming home. These Mutas are on a timer. They kill a Stalker. They go in for another Stalker. They get another Stalker. Photon Overcharge goes down. They're going to get a 3rd Stalker. Maybe even that might have even been a 4th. Picking off a couple probes here. He knows these mutas are done for. He knows the Phoenixes will run them down and take them out. Trying to get as much damage as he can. Meanwhile, trying to sneak in and cancel the third base. Mana's defense is pretty solid, though. Taking a look at things, we do have, you know, XiGua got 9 probes with that mute attack. So those mutas actually, they did very well for themselves, considering that they're hard countered by the Phoenixes. But meanwhile, the Phoenixes tore apart the Hydra Force. You can see units lost there massively in Mana's favor. The Phoenixes has been so cost efficient throughout the game. And now he's got Colossi too. He's going to pick up some Hydras. Phoenixes are being focused down. That's going to be nice for Mana, or excuse me, for XiGua, but unfortunately the Colossi are still strong. There's still force fields. But wait a minute, where's the gateway units? They've all fallen. But Mana can retreat, and you know what? He only lost a single sentry there. He kept all his Colossi alive. Yes, he lost a couple of Phoenix, but the ground army is the more important one. Sentries exposed again, losing the sentries, but so many Hydralists are being toasted. It's just a whole bunch of cinder blocks there for XiGua. Units lost continues to favor Mana, although that trade might have been fairly even. XiGua now adding Corruptors into the force, and you know what? If Mana overextends here, yes, Mana is winning. Yes, it's 3 base to basically 3 base with the Zerg just now taking the 4th. Yes, the Zerg is still on layer tech, and upgrades are fairly even across the board. But if Mana extends into an open engagement, and even an open engagement on creep would be even worse, he doesn't have that many gateway units. If Zerg can converge from multiple directions, these Colossi all of a sudden become very vulnerable. Mana needs to get some more gateway units to buffer for the Colossi. We can see he's adding in Void Rays. And everyone knows what happens when Corruptors go up against Void Rays. If Mana sits back and builds up his army, I don't see any way XiGua can stop this attack. He's going to have to rely on Corruptors against Void Rays, Colossi, and a massive gateway army. But at the same time, he can't just go all Corruptors because then he just dies to the Stalkers. A very difficult situation for XiGua. You can see he's leading by 50 supply, but unfortunately, army values right now are actually very even. If you combine the resources, they're very even. And XiGua's count cannot go up. He's maxed. Mana can only get stronger from here. But wait a minute. Mana's moving out. I don't think he realizes XiGua's still on lair tech. If he waited for 1 or 2 more Warpins, his army would be unstoppable. But the engagement right now, does XiGua have a chance? Corruptor is distracted by Phoenixes. Now they're coming in. Going straight for the Colossi, of course, the correct choice. Ignore the Void Rays. Colossi are the bigger threat. Roach is being zoned out very well by force fields. Void Rays take up 2 Colossi. Can it get a third? Roach is swarming forwards. A third Colossi falls. Timer up goes down, and of course with the Void Rays and the last Colossi, the Roaches have to retreat, but that was an engagement that didn't go terribly for XiGua. Units lost still favors Mana, but I feel if Mana waited for additional warping of units and additional 2 Void Rays, XiGua would have been basically in a hopeless position. As is, XiGua is still on lair tech. Lair tech Zerg against the Protoss going on to 4 bases is not a pretty sight if the Protoss can approach max. Mana at 150 supply is not rebuilding any Colossi, but he is building Void Rays. Meanwhile, Mana's trying to harass with Zealots in the main, Zealots in the 3rd base. War Prism doing some damage, but XiGua defends well. Meanwhile, XiGua trying to counter the 4th base with Roaches. Mana defends well. Workers kill is still pretty much what it has been at the start of the game. The Zealots get maybe 2, maybe 3 drone kills, but mostly ineffectual. The War Prism does escape, though. That's the bigger story. These Roaches, can they escape? Gonna try to kill a Zealot. No, now they're gonna run. Phoenixes will pick off a couple Roaches, but now another Roach squad is hitting the 3rd base. This could be bad for Mana. There are 3 cannons and a Void Ray there. But the Roaches could start taking out a lot of probes. XiGua trying to... Actually, he's going straight for the Nexus. Excuse me, not going for probes or cannons. Corruptor's coming in. Oh, he backs away, though. And he ends up losing several Corruptors and several Roaches for just damage. But meanwhile, the other Roach force swings back into the 4th, going straight for the Nexus again. And Nexus is taking damage. Roach is here on full retreat. Mana in hot pursuit. The Overseer goes down. The 4th Nexus. Oh, the Void Rays come in, and Mana just barely defends that. XiGua now, unfortunately, yes, he's still ahead in supply, but army values are going to start to favor Mana more and more as Roaches become less effective. But what XiGua can do is he can strain his bonus multitasking. That's the only way he can come out ahead. He cannot go for a direct engagement. He has to split attack. And look at this, the 4th is vulnerable. This squad of Roaches could swing in and ease the kill, but wait a minute, no, they're swinging down south. Now they're going back up north. It looks like it was Overlord scouting the 4th location. A roach squad. Oh no, the rocks are down. He's got to kill the rocks. A great move by Mana, taking out those rocks. Buying himself some time. That's why the roaches were going the other way. Now an attack here at the third location. This hatchery, or excuse me, Nexus, under fire here. Void Rays coming back. 5 roaches go down, but the Nexus falls as well. The rocks are almost down. Mana's got to get back up to defend. His pretty much only mining bases, his natural's running low, though he actually intelligently was mining for other bases before. Void Rays coming in. Can he get the Nexus? The Nexus goes down. Many roaches fall. Now the question is, XiGua's crippled his opponent's economy, but he still has not gone to high tech. His competition is still just roaches and corruptors. There's 9 Void Rays in action. Is there any way the 17 corruptors can deal with 9 Void Rays? I don't think so. I think 9 Void Rays mop the floor with 17 corruptors. We can see though, I think Mana knows this, or XiGua knows this as well. He's going straight on for a base trade, knowing he cannot straight engage. He just made a giant swell of speed leans. He's also getting level 2 flyer weapons. He has a lot of gas in the bank. A base trade and a Muta Remax could be what XiGua needs to make this work. He's hitting at Mana's home. Meanwhile, the corruptors are going back home. If they can pick off a Void Ray here or there when a Void Ray's out of position, perhaps the corruptors can make something happen. There's so many stalkers here as well, though. Where are the spine crawlers? I think he tried to make them here and they all fell. Corruptors in hot retreat. Meanwhile, the counterattack is still pushing forward. Corruptors being melted by the Void Rays. This is just disgusting. There's still 9 Void Rays. 10 Corruptors have fallen, though, for really no gain. Where are the Mutas at the Spire? Can you get that second attack upgrade? That could be a key upgrade to help the Mutas base trade against... Oh, you know, XiGua lost the Corruptors on purpose to remax with Muteless. He's going for base elimination. I think he needs a hatchery over on the right side of the map because Mana is just crushing through here. The Void Rays could return home to defend. That's exactly what Mana's going to do. Meanwhile, the ground army continues to just crush through XiGua's bases. XiGua takes out the natural Mana. You know what? Where are the Mutas at? Where are the Mutas at? Mutas plus Corruptors combined could take out the Void Rays. It's a trap! Here's the Mutas. Wait, that's only 5. There should be 21. Where are they? Here's 3 more. Where's the rest? Where's the rest of the Mutas? They're coming in piecemeal. Oh no, XiGua, I think he could have killed out the force, but he's coming in piecemeal. Now he's taking massively more casualties than he should have. I think he may still, yeah, he's still going to come out on top here. But unfortunately, he did not slaughter the army. He went from 21 Mutas down to 15, lost 6 Mutas, perhaps unnecessarily. But now I think the Mutas could swing in here, take out these sentries. Actually, doesn't even need to. How many buildings does XiGua have left? This is his last hatchery. We're in a full-on base trade here, guys. XiGua with a giant force. XiGua trying to take out these buildings as well here. Mana with 200 minerals. He's got 1 probe on the outside there. Mana leaving to 2 immortals to clean up some buildings. What is left for XiGua? He has 1 drone over here. Units tab shows 2 drones to 15 probes. All the probes are going down. He's got to get back in the main and focus the buildings. Oh, there's still 2 Phoenix in play. Oh, the Mutas didn't take out the Phoenix. Again, going for buildings is XiGua. He is now being revealed. Mutas in full retreat. They're going to go for those immortals. Meanwhile, roaches will be annihilated here. Ideally, he can kill the Nexus. If he kills the Nexus, Mana is revealed, and the Mutas become much stronger at base trading. Can he get the Nexus? Can he get the Nexus? Oh, no! Oh, no, 46 health. All Mana has to do is split his force now. A small portion to defend the Nexus, along with Photon Overcharge. He should be chrono boosting that potentially to regenerate those shields. Meanwhile, a small force from XiGua. It is XiGua 35 supply from XiGua to 71 of Mana. XiGua is rebuilding the hatchery. Now, Mana is rebuilding a couple probes. There's 1 drone left. Where is this drone? Where is this drone? Where is the drone? Oh, here it is. Okay. This drone needs to hide somewhere else because he's the hope for a secondary hatchery. Muteless trading with the Phoenixes. Oh, Mana's got to be still on top of his micro. Meanwhile, a force of Stalkers moves on the map. That's enough Stalkers. I don't know if the Mutas can engage them. They're finding buildings. The Mutas did take out the Nexus. Sorry, I did miss that. Can the Mutas take the Stalkers? Right now we have 13 Mutas against 10 Stalkers. I think the Mutas win that, but not with the Phoenix there. Oh, he's bringing back 2 Speedings to help out. Upgrades tab. Mutas never got that second flyer attack. That's actually a big deal. This Phoenix is almost dead. The Mutas, of course, will regenerate. A Roach coming in to help as well. XiGua knows he has to stop this army. He has to stop this army here. He's going for it now. 1 Stalker goes down, 2 Stalkers go down. A Phoenix goes down as well. The Muta count is shrinking. Those Stalkers are blinking. Can the Mutas run him down? Mana's trying to retreat. The Muta's taking out more and more Stalkers. Mutas are getting hurt, though. They're trying to regenerate. Remember, he had 13 Mutas against 10 Stalkers. And 2 Phoenix. Oh, he's got to get the Phoenix. He can get the Phoenix. Can he get the Phoenix? This is so close. There's still 9 Stalkers left. They were back defending. Now they're being activated. But now the Muta's going to swing back into main base here. Is what I presume they should be doing. No, they're going to circle on. They're going to try to get the Phoenix. He's going to try to ambush it. Can he get it? Oh, he gets it. That's actually a big move. The Phoenix, the most mobile part of Mana's army. Now XiGua needs to counterattack. These 5 Mutas cannot combat the full might of Mana. Mana split his army again. He's realized it's 5 Mutas. This many sentries can take 5 Mutas. This many Stalkers can take 5 Mutas. Mana has successfully split his army correctly. And I think XiGua may be in trouble here, as these Stalkers will blink in. Yeah, or actually I don't think they have blink. Or they do have blink, but that's the game. Mana. Wow. You know, wow. That was a hard-fought game there. Mana comes back, though. Takes out Jim and XiGua back-to-back, and I do have to say, I love how XiGua played that out. From a certain point, he realized Lairtech Zerg is not going to beat 4 base Protoss in a heads-up engagement. Not when there's like a billion Colossi, a billion Void Rays, and maybe a 250 million Sentries, and then 3 billion Stalkers. I think I got the numbers roughly approximate there. A fully developed Protoss army is not going to die Lairtech Zerg. XiGua went for the base trade. He almost made it work. Now imagine if he could have found a way to get like 7 more Mutas out. And if he engaged those Voiders to the full force, I think he may have had 6 more Mutas. I think, you know, I want to say he played that base trade very well. And a couple small things, he might have been able to come on top of that. Zerg's so strong in the base trade when using Mutalist. And he played it really well. Mana wasn't able to defend his 3rd and 4th very well. But as is, Mana does come out ahead, wins that 2-3. Some really, really great, solid defensive Protoss play throughout most of that game. And a lot of amazing early game attacks to really put XiGua behind by canceling a 3rd twice. Who will Invictus Gaming put out next? Maxed or XY? One of those 2 players is one of my bets. We'll find out. Game 6 coming up.